Welcome once again. This is News Tonight at 10. My name is Patricia Lukomai. Mpango and Mugalu Mohammed is already here with us on sign language. Well, it's another episode of News Tonight where we tend to bring you what's making headlines. As we kick off with our stories, the NRM caucus, particularly we believe, President Museveni has today met and held productive talks with the visiting Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, Eri Afia. During the meeting held at State House Entebbe, President Museveni welcomed his guest to Uganda and reiterated Uganda's position in maintaining and strengthening the cordial relationship existing between Uganda and Japan. President Museveni additionally commended the government of Japan for the bilateral development projects undertaken in Uganda, citing the bridge over the Nile in Jinja and Kampala flyover, as well as Gulu to Atiak Road. President Museveni, however, reiterated his appeal through his guest, Japanese companies, to take keen interest in the private sector. President Museveni called on the Japanese companies to tap onto the potentially huge market of Africa that will be 2.5 billion people in the next 30 years, forming a quarter of the human race. Now, the president further urged the visiting Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan to woo investors to invest in construction of railway in the country, and also at the same time to link markets on the continent under the umbrella of Continental Free Trade Area. President Museveni informed his guests to urgently need the road equipment for the construction and maintenance of the road network in the country, noting that with the increase of districts to 147 and more municipalities, there is need for more units on the road. Now, as we view those pictures, those videos of the president today meeting with the productive talks of the foreign minister of Japan, we will get to our next story, which is the NRM caucus. Now, the National Resistance Movement Party Chairman, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is set to lead a nationwide exercise on the 6th of May 2025, where all NRM members will be expected to participate in village barazas within their respective communities. While addressing the immediate parliament on the resolution of the NRM caucus that convened in Entebbe, where the party's electoral commission presented its roadmap, Government Chief Whip Hamson Abua said the exercise will also allow members to update their names and contact details, as we hear more in this report.
As you are aware, today the NRM Parliamentary Caucus conducted its routine and regular meeting, which is always held every first Friday of the month. In that meeting, the NRM Secretariat briefed the caucus on the village barazas. On the 6th of May 2025, every member of the National Resistance Movement, right from the National Chairperson of NRM, will be expected to retreat and be part of the village baraza within their respective villages. This baraza will grant an opportunity for us to correct the particulars, majorly the name, the telephone number, but it will not be an opportunity for registering new members, because the NRM, I would state that for the first time in our history, has a credible voters register village by village. The NRM also registered members, and the voters register was extracted from the registration of members. Now, this exercise of 6 May 2025 will be led by none other than the national chairperson of the National Resistance Movement, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who will equally retreat to his up-country home village to participate in the baraza of his village. Additionally, in the address of His Excellency the President, he made 2 fundamental points arising majorly from the reports he keeps receiving from the zonal tours. As you are aware, he has been touring the country. So his clarion call to the members and the leaders of NRM was, 1, to enhance our monitoring and follow-up of the different government programs, because wherever he goes, there are challenges and complaints being raised. So the leaders must take the lead through enhancing the monitoring and the follow-up of the different government programs. He also emphasized the fact that the leaders of NRM and the members, but more specifically the leaders, are the nyampara of people's interest, and we should also enhance our efforts in the fight against corruption. Because in a number of areas where he has been, there have been complaints, especially from the Wananchi, on some government programs, especially the PDM, where he was talking about the less money that people received. Some of them went through charges, and others received the 1 million, others received less.
Now, Justice Lydia Mambbe, a Ugandan High Court judge, has been found guilty by the Oxford Crown Court on multiple charges, including conspiracy to breach UK immigration law, facilitating travel with the intent of exploitation, forced labor, and witness intimidation. At the time of her alleged offences, Mambbe was in the United Kingdom pursuing a PhD in law at the University of Oxford. Now, the court had that she manipulated her status and position to lure a woman who had previously worked in a household in Uganda into traveling to the UK under false pretenses. Once in the country, Mambbe forced the victim to work as her domestic maid and provide unpaid childcare while restricting her from obtaining lawful employment. Despite claiming to police that she held diplomatic immunity and had no need for a worker, Mambbe's actions were found to be calculated and exploitative. The court established that her real intention was to secure cheap domestic help to ease her personal responsibilities while studying in the UK. The case also implicated John Leonard Mugerwa, Uganda's Deputy High Commissioner to Uganda, who was said to have conspired with Mambbe in facilitating the woman's travel. Now, as we move ahead, one of our top stories, a government has commissioned construction of the road that connects 3 refugee settlements in western Uganda. The 105-kilometer road will connect Mambbe refugee camp, Chaka 1 and Chaka 2 refugee camps. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Uganda-Japan, commissioned the construction of the road on behalf of the President at Kamwenge district.
Once again, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uganda, to officially launch the construction of Bwizi Chihura Mpara for God and my country.
Thank you. The 105-kilometer road will cover Chenjojo, Kihura, Bwizi, Rwamwanja, Kahunge, Mparabwizi, including 20 kilometers town roads in the districts of Kamwenge, Chenjojo, and Chegegwa.
OPM, I want to thank you. When they were planning, because the window was a refugee window, we requested OPM then. We said, you have Rwamwanja refugee settlement. You have Chaka 1 and Chaka 2. You bring heavy trucks to deliver humanitarian assistance. All of these trucks damage our roads. So that's how this road was accepted to connect to Mpara. I want to thank your office for understanding us.
This road was included in the NRM manifesto of 2016 and 2021 to be implemented under the Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Uganda-Japan, commissioned the construction of the road on behalf of the President at Bwizi in Kamwenge district.
The project will therefore be critical in addressing the needs of refugees and the host communities, and will facilitate delivery of aid and essential goods and improving access to services like healthcare and education, and promote economic opportunities for both refugees and host communities while ensuring freedom of movement and facilitating social integration. Mwikirize ndagire Ministry ya Works eyanguye bwangu ebihandiko tusobole kuongera town zona tumale kukora kuntu tumanye nguko ahoire. So a town ezibaire zitali mu plan nkakamwenge nkuragira ngunazo bazigaitemu.
The road will also enhance tourism potential in Rwenzori region, targeting Kibale National Park, and will contribute to the development of tourism in the region, accounting to about 6% of the total number of tourists in Uganda.
As a tourism road, it will also enhance the tourism potential in the Rwenzori sub-region. 10 out of the 12 national parks are in the western region. The 2 proposed routes are adjacent to Kibale National Park and contribute to the development of tourism in the region.
The project is funded by the Islamic Development Bank and will be constructed by the Arab contractors. Minister Echweru also explains why Mityana-Mubende Road has delayed.
From Mityana to Mubende.
Oruguto orwa Mityana kushika Mubende. Tugambe honangwa. Talk about it also.
Prime Minister, I can confirm to you the money entered the Minister of Works account just last night.
Nyechiro sentezo tuzitungire on account ya Ministry of Works.
As if they knew I was coming this way.
No shaba manyene nguninzo ko bagenda ngu.
I have called the leadership of Enago because they had even gone back to Europe.
It will reveal that a lot of government funds is lost in district roads into corruption. He promised to arrest all district leaders involved in stealing taxpayers' money.
But what we decided, Mzee guided us and say, let's give each district 1 billion shillings to support community access road improvement. What some districts are doing, and I want you to listen to me very attentively, engineers. The money hits the account of the district, the 1 billion. They take all that money and put in one petrol station.
bazitwara abandi titwe aba district ezindi bazitwara bazita petrol station bazigura amashuta.
Then the district engineer and the chief administrative officer withdraw that money as their pocket money and eat it. I'm going to come here to follow Mzee when he's coming for his PDM, and I will ask each one of you before the people to account for the last 3 years, the money that you have received, the roads that you have done, and the amount each road has taken. You will have to account before the population.
President kware ijo mu PDM nija kubeta ba engineer mutugambira buri district emyaka eshatehweire mukazikozesa ki.
Some of the recently completed road projects in the Rwenzori sub-region and the surrounding area include Kenjojo-Kaboya Road, Kamwenge Fort Portal Road, Mubende Kakumiro Kagadi Road, Kenjojo Fort Portal Road, Fort Portal Hima Road, Hima Katunguru Road, and Ishaka Katunguru, among others.
The Amnesty Commission has granted amnesty to 43 former ADF captives from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The 43 individuals received their amnesty certificates at the Ministry of Defense headquarters in Buya, Kampala. Let's see more in this report.
The regional areas.
The Amnesty Commission has granted amnesty to the 5th group of former ADF captives and rescued individuals. The individuals have undergone 3 months of rehabilitation and skills training.
So this event is meant to, one, to graduate them, get them through the process of amnesty. That's why we have Amnesty Uganda here. The card we give you is your master card, is a proof that you denounced rebellion, is a proof that you are a free person to live in this country.
The group received psychosocial support and hands-on vocational training, making them employable and better prepared for reintegration into society.
Hands-on skills, including motorcycle mechanics, repair, sewing, weaving, painting, elementary carpentry, shoemaking, and baking, amongst others.
This process has been supported by the Bridgeway Foundation in collaboration with the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF. The foundation also aids reintegration by enrolling beneficiaries in formal education and vocational schools.
Many of our clients arrive traumatized, carrying the scars of violence and loss. Our psychologists help them process their experience, rebuild their confidence, and envision a new future.
As our role, our duty is to make sure we link these people to government interventions. They need to be linked to programs like PDM, such that they're in a position to benefit from what the government is offering.
These rescued captives are now instrumental in defection messaging campaigns, serving as ambassadors to those still in fighting, encouraging them to abandon rebellion.
They shared the stories of redemption and hope, urging their former comrades to abandon extremism and choose peace. This dual approach, defection, messaging, and rehabilitation, feed into a larger strategy of weakening ADF's capacity to commit mass atrocities.
Amnesty is granted only once. There is no second chance. The UPDF has confirmed that since the 2023 incidents, there have been no such attacks. Several ADF commanders have been killed, and operations to dismantle terror cells continue. Tony Kent Chaze, UBC.
Now, the media fraternity has been advised to reflect on the history of Uganda while executing their respective duties. The government chief whip, Hamson Oboa, told the media that the country is reaping fruits of fighting bad governance in the old days and thus should be respected. Oboa was chief guest during an engagement with the media fraternity at Parliament ahead of the World Press Freedom Day 2025.
Ahead of the World Press Freedom Day 2025, media fraternity under various umbrella bodies converged at Parliamentary Building to understand the stance of media freedom in Uganda, especially as the electoral fever rises.
News is only exclusive and sweet when you can get it and come back alive.
The discussions centered on the safety of journalists and attracted panelists that included Charity Ahimsiwe, the Executive Director, Electoral Laws Institute, and Kira Municipality Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Semujunganda, among others.
But please don't give up, because we don't have the option to do so. But also be brave. One of the things that must happen on Press Freedom Day is celebrate those who have been brave. I think collectively, if you are, there are things they will not want to do. And that at every point when we are doing the work that we do as journalists, our citizenship should come first. And the bigger goal of building a prosperous, united, consolidated Uganda should be our anchor. And I am proud to say that the media in Uganda has been doing this.
The leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, said journalism should be practiced with integrity and courage.
We're also seeing a growing public hunger for independent, investigative journalism. I thank people like Solomon Selwanja who are digging in their heels in that regard. Ugandans are asking hard questions. They want facts, not spin. And this demand gives honest journalism the relevance and urgency that it deserves.
This media engagement was organized by Uganda Parliamentary Press Association and was presided over by the government chief whip, Hamson Obua.
At least today, we can gather like we have gathered. And we talk. One would use the word unleashing verbal artillery. And you have heard. In broad daylight, we are here talking. Can we ask the elders that at the time of the crisis, would this happen? At the time of the pigeon-hole constitution, would this happen?
Obua's statement remains a question of whether freedom of speech in Uganda is indeed free.
Don't tell us about Article 29, don't tell us about the Constitution and these very good gigantic words and Chapter 4 when what we see on the ground is different. Keep the security, the military, the beaters, the hooligans, the masked, hooded people off the election.
If you choose to report on the side of government, then you don't make news. You choose to report on the side of opposition, that's when you get news. That's when you get a lot of coverage. That's when the media house is respected and I've got that clientele and followers. I said, okay, from that angle, but from another angle, government is there providing you with the space to do whatever you are doing. So,
the CEO, National Association of Broadcasters, Joseph Bayenga, emphasized the need for journalists to focus on unity, put away selfish interests, and serve the public.
So we need to make sure safety is a priority in everything we do. We will do what we can as an organization to somehow facilitate that conversation, but media houses, we need to do that. Make sure our people are protected.
WUPA used the opportunity to launch its website in a bid to enhance journalism activities.
We shall take a picture of them.
Daniel Mugoya, Farida Namfuka, UBC News.
Now, the Center for Human Rights and Development, CHRD, has formally instituted proceedings against Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, and the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, over negligence that resulted into a catastrophic collapse of the Kiteezi landfill, hence the loss of lives and property.
Center for Health, Human Rights and Development accuses the two government agencies of failing to respond to repeated warnings about the public health risks and environmental hazards posed by poor waste management at the Kiteezi landfill.
Manage the disposal of garbage KCCA cannot be reluctant to the cries of the communities in Kiteezi until when it is really too late. We noticed that there were women struggling, there were men struggling, people crying of their property, people crying of, their lives. Even when you go there now, you will actually see houses destroyed and we are actually silent. So I thought that by coming up and instituting cases against them, they will wake up. And specifically, we are taking both of them because if KCCA had failed, then NEMA ought to have come up and taken up its sole responsibility.
In its petition, SEHAD is demanding for, among others, the immediate decommissioning of the Kiteezi landfill and a comprehensive environmental restoration of the affected area.
We're here together with communities of Kiteezi to demand for immediate decommissioning of the landfill, comprehensive environmental restoration, and the adoption of sustainable waste management systems aligned with international best practices. We have decided to engage court for declarations and orders relating to the protection of violated rights to life, property, health, a clean and healthy environment.
Aware of other cases in court about this issue, SEHAD seeks for justice, particularly on environmental health.
But we have also looked at other cases that are there, but the cases that are there, one is an individual case, another is a representative suit, but they don't speak to the issues that we are speaking about. None of those cases is asking KCCA, for example, to decommission. None of those cases is looking at what NEMA failed to do at the time when the community of Kiteezi was making noise and trying to advocate for their rights.
Local residents report that waste is still being dumped at the site in secret, despite official claims that dumping ceased.
Bambi ebintu ebyobulabe bingi nnyo bye bazze ng'abaana baffe bajja babizanyisa ffe ng'abazadde ne tubeera mu kweraliikirira.
Twali twagala tikesisi ejje eggaliwo ekirombe ekyo eteekewo n'amateeka.
SEHAD believes this case should serve as a wake-up call for all agencies entrusted with the stewardship of public health and climate justice. Cayenne Faith, Nanono Smaya for UBC.
The Bishop of Fort Portal Diocese, Right Reverend Robert Muhirwa Akiki, has issued a strong warning to men against alcoholism, describing it as a major contributor to family breakdowns. Now, speaking to hundreds of believers shortly after Mass on Feast Day of St. Joseph and Worker at Holy Trinity Catholic Parish, the prelate linked the rising cases of domestic violence to alcohol abuse.
A team of 5 Catholic bishops from the Western Province are in Kasese district for pastoral visits and also to share experiences from different dioceses. The team, which is led by the Archbishop of Mbara City, Right Reverend Lambert Bainomigisha, is said to give blessings to the believers and also encourage Christians to strengthen their faith in the Catholic Church. Bishop Aquinas Chibida of the Diocese of Kasese urged all families to develop a heart of blessing each other, which he believes would foster development and strengthen their relationship with God.
Husband and wife and children, let us be a blessing to one another and let us bless one another. Amen.
The Bishop of Hoima Diocese, Right Reverend Vincent Chirabo, also urged parents to teach their children biblical scriptures that can dedicate them to the kingdom of God.
Petroleum, chapter 6, akagamba ebintu bino byenda kubagambira mubyegesega abaana banyu mubyegesa abaijukulu banyu murabagani mu rubata murabagani mulya ebintu bino mubyegeseewo.
Joseph Nzukwa is optimistic that the coming of the bishops to the Diocese of Kasese will strengthen Christians' faith and create unity among all believers.
Their coming is a strong message to us, especially in regard to the spirituality, in regard to the economic transformation within the base of Kasese and within the Kiteezi province. Number two, they are showing to us unity, that as an Kiteezi province, we are liable and called upon to work together because we are one, despite the diversity of different tribes, of different origins. We are all people of God, and therefore we must work together.
Charity Marian Imnat and Moses Mutabali for UBC News.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo the Super mustai rompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona. MTN kabo the Super mustai rompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest mpora in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Okero. Hey, Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family?
Oh no.
Hey.
We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it.
Oh.
And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections.
Okay. What about these young men? I can see you.
These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote.
Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife so that we can check the details in the register.
Okay.
See you on the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
Amazina ganje niyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukunjiri ndio muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko mu muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nebiya bafere sente ziriyo zona bakaziteka ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
And into the world of business, Lera University's Vice Chancellor has urged staff association to desist from confrontation engagements with management, warning that persistent conflict only undermines the institutions they aim to protect. Professor Jasper Ogwal-Okeng was speaking during the Staff Association leadership handover at Lera University.
It was a moment of transition and reflection at Lera University as the leadership of the Academic Staff Association changed hands.
At all times.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jasper Ogwal-Okeng, called on staff leaders to engage in meaningful dialogue and avoid confrontational approaches that could strain institutional harmony.
I even want to run amok because I haven't given you money. Do I have that money? I realize that many of us officers do not even know where the things they use in the office come from. These are what they call the life skills. You should know these things.
In modern world, people don't go on strike. People sit down and then find a better way of managing affairs.
The ceremony marked the end of a 6-year term for Tom Omute, who has chaired Lera University Academic Staff Association Lowassa since 2018.
I also learned that there is mutual suspicion always by university management and the staff association. The staff associations think university management is out there to cripple and destroy them. University management, on the other hand, thinks and views leaders of staff associations as troublemakers, people who are hell-bent to causing chaos and trouble in the universities. But what I have learned over almost 6 years of my leadership is that you can successfully navigate the difficult terrain of leadership and all the contradictions in the leadership by first of all understanding very clearly in the proper context what the issue at hand is.
Omute led through a period of growth, guiding the association through internal conflicts, advocating for staff welfare and mentoring younger academics. He also pointed to unresolved issues including staffing gaps, lack of health insurance and retirement benefits, which he believes need urgent attention from government and university leadership.
New product innovation hub is another area the new Lowassa executives will focus on.
From physical well-being to academic empowerment, Professor Edward Komakech, the incoming chairperson, says Lowassa will be a vehicle for transformation, one rooted in teamwork and not tension. The message from this ceremony is timely not just for one institution, but for many that constructive dialogue, professional maturity and shared purpose remain the foundation for progress in higher education. Ediulwa, UBC News.
Ugandans in the United Kingdom are bracing for the first ever Bunyoro-Kitara UK International Convention, whose mission is to reconnect to create stronger bonds while celebrating the common heritage. The convention, which will run between 27th to 29th of June 2025, will be hosted at a Grand Sphere Hotel.
Bunyoro-Kitara,
like many African communities, the Bunyoro people in the United Kingdom have found ways to stay connected to their roots. In small venues like restaurants and community halls, they come together to celebrate and fundraise for projects like education and health back home.
It does make us unite, but also bring us together to share our experiences and celebrate our successes in whatever way we've achieved them.
These gatherings are more than just social events, but transcend into a lifeline that keeps culture alive while building support for families and communities. And now, from small family gatherings, the Bunyoro have grown this into the first ever Bunyoro-Kitara UK International Convention due next month.
For the first time, we are going to show the Bunyoro people there is a generation of Bunyoro who left home and came to these shores, created generations, probably 2 generations now, and it's time now to showcase what we are about.
The 3 days of the convention that will be punctuated by traditional music and discussions will be a celebration of culture, heritage, and unity.
I always say you have a better understanding when you know where you come from and where you know where your ancestors and where your grandparents and fathers have been and mothers have been. It'll just be better for you to build more knowledge, so bring yourself forward and do something for the culture, Bunyoro-Kitara.
One of the best highlights of the convention will be a tour of Oxford, including the Pitt Rivers Museum, where Bunyoro memorabilia like King's Kabalega throne, the Nyamiaro, is stored.
Large 8-legged, nika. Yeah. It's 8-legged. This is one. Yes.
Yeah.
Nyamiaro yomukama kabalega.
It will attract participants from Uganda, Middle East, USA, and Canada, among others. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217*413#.
Choose option 4.
Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
Welcome back into the world of business. The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries is urging farmers to venture into production of organic food products and resist from dependence on chemicals for food yields. This was communicated during the launch of the organic new earth fertilizers to feed the future and heal the soils.
Agriculture remains the backbone of Uganda's economy, employing over 70% of the population and serving as a major source of export earnings. With global demand rising for organic food products, Ugandan farmers are increasingly turning to sustainable methods to meet both local and international market standards. In a bind to strengthen soil fertility and boost crop yields, DII Group, led by Dr. Matthias Magola, has launched a new organic fertilizer in Kampala.
Expand capacity. Because the good news is that they have allowed us to use this product to export to the rest. So we want to use this so that our products can meet that standard. And we start exporting to the markets that it has not been possible to export before. I therefore request you to give us support, to work together. This is for you.
This product is designed to rebuild soil texture that has been damaged by excessive use of chemical sprays. With Organic New Earth, the aim is to empower farmers with a sustainable solution that improves both yields and food quality.
Now, when I eat, the people down to benefit from this. That's why you've seen we put demonstration gardens for people to come and learn from us. And also we are going to liquidate it with the market, and we are going to work hand in hand with you.
The Commissioner from Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Alex Kakoba, says this initiative will enable farmers meet good yields that meet world standards.
Organic food was estimated to be 228 billion United States dollars in 2024. And by then, it was projected to even grow up to $253 billion in 2025. Uganda is an agricultural country, and we desire to transform this country from peasantry to modernity.
Organic agriculture is not just good for health, it is also a business opportunity since the world wants clean organic food.
The application rates, when we apply fertilizer, and how we do things. And if we don't change, I can assure you that we shall be top on the list of those countries that need help in terms of food insecurity.
As Uganda continues to position herself as a hub for organic produce, products like Organic New Earth are vital in equipping farmers to meet global standards while protecting land for the generations to come.
So this is a pure organic treatment that will take our plants, make them truly organic.
DEI Group signals a strong commitment to sustainable agriculture and national development. Suzanne Nabugude, Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Well, and that's all we had time for. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. My name is Patricia Lukomai, and Mugalu Mohammed has been with us on sign language. From the entire news team, it's a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.